What's going on, moms and dads? Welcome to another episode of the Fade You podcast, our final regular season preview for the National Football League season. Week 18 is here. So we got one more preview. Don't worry. We'll have plenty of playoff previews. Actually, special guest on next week's wild card round preview. So look forward to that. One of our absolute favorites. But for now, Matthew James here with the dads, with Kmart, with Chris Duke, with Joe. Chris, from your car. Look at the effort for Chris. Chris was trying to pod from work. He's on his way to physical therapy, and not connecting at work.
Work wasn't connecting. I'm in this Nissan Sentra. I love you, Merrill. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Obviously, a weird week to talk about the NFL. Weird week in sports. We have the luxury of recording on Thursday, so everything that happened on Monday Night Football, we've just kind of watched, observed, listened over the last few days. We talk about fantasy football and betting, and then something like that happens. But pretty crazy shit, dads, with Damar Hamlin on Monday Night Football, man.
Yeah, unreal, dude. Unreal. So my wife, who doesn't give a flying fuck about football, was watching it with me, or was being forced to watch it with me. And when it happened, she phoned down, looking at the screen, stuck. And then she was gonna leave, and then she's like, "Well, I gotta sit here and wait and see what happens." I'm like, "Yeah, this is, I don't know. It's kind of one of those moments that goes for it's more than sports. It's like another human." So to see it live like that, it's pretty shocking to most people, including people that aren't even sports fans.
Yeah, you heard a lot of shows talk about how it's one of those surreal things that when you watch live, it's like wow, and just the uncertainty of everything was pretty wild. And now it kind of goes into how we think about NFL Week 18. It's just another thing. I think the thing that strikes me too is, people go on Twitter and everybody's a medical expert now, and everybody's a psychologist now, and everybody knows how people are going to process this and deal with it going into Week 18. And we've already talked about how Week 18 is the ultimate nobody knows shit week. And this is just now another layer. So, you're going to hear people talk on various shows about, well, here's they're going to play for their teammate, or they're going to be affected by it. Nobody fucking knows. I mean, it's a
load of shit.
So,
yeah,
a lot of noise out there.
Come out and run the table for all we know, playing for them, or they could be flat. We don't know.
Nobody knows. Yeah. Nobody knows shit.
So, if you're listening to any shows and people are taking the position, well, I know for sure how they're going to respond. Come on, nobody knows. So, we will do the best we can with Week 18. I mean, is there anybody who would just suggest people just don't bet Week 18? How should people feel about this final week of the regular season?
Kmart had the best description. Just fucking pick 5 games, flip a coin, and bet that side, because that's what we're doing this week.
Truly are. I think I've placed one actual bet because of Joe, and then a good old fashioned teaser because of things that teams are possibly playing for.
Actually, I did a teaser too. I'm not gonna lie. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's gonna be square as shit.
I teased Lions up the 10.5 and then Seahawks down.
Mine's gonna be even more square, or not. Mine. I would Cowboys -1, Vikings -1. How does that lose? Tell me how that loses.
How does that lose, Chris? Teaser's auto, right? Books just give away money.
I think I just found 2 plays.
You got a dance partner for those two?
If it's Peterman, Joe's good.
Jesus Christ! I don't even know.
Oh my god!
Yet. What are we looking?
That's amazing, Chris. I can't wait to see Quan's teasers on Sunday. I mean, this week's right up his alley, right?
You think he'll tease anything down to 28, Matt, or something like that?
Teasing total. God. What a god.
Teasing teams through 0 totals, just everything you shouldn't do. But all right, so we'll put a bow on the super contest next week. had 4 entries this season in the contest. All the dads putting their best foot forward. I mean, for Kmart and Neil to be in 4th place at 43, 41, and 1, that's not too shabby at all. I mean, you see guys that act like they know what they're talking about, 5-10 games under 50%, and so that's not bad at all.
I'm just
especially
embarrassed
for
because I've personally I feel like our buddy Buff, where I've personally had the best betting season in the NFL of my life probably, and I'm like, really, we're 43, 41, 1, like sweet.
Well, I guess what you can do, Kmart, is you can use all those winnings and have your own fucking team next year. How does that sound?
I mean, I didn't even want to do it this year, but I just thought it'd be fun to do it with my father-in-law, brother-in-law, and then I was like, well, Neil and I were talking about it, so I dragged him into hell.
That's way too many.
Yeah, I think
sounds
I think
fun
so.
until
I
they give
think
you a bunch of L's.
Yeah, I think 2's the way to go.
Yeah. So hey, I mean, for a shared entry like that to still be over 50%, despite disagreements and stuff like that, is good. Chris, you got fucked by the Monday Night Zero. So you and I are tied 49 and 36. We are probably not cashing, but hey, if we can finish inside the top 100, that's not bad at all. And then Joe and Jared still with a chance to cash. You guys are currently tied for 38th.
Yep. Tied for 38th, half a point out of the money.
51, 33, and 1. Currently, money is 52, right?
Yes, sir. So, well, the way I looked at it is we got to go. If we go 3 and 2, that'll give us about a 60% chance of getting in the money. Because we got to beat about 18 people ahead of us. 19 people, we got to beat half of them. So that would put us probably in the money. If we go 4 and 1, we're definitely in 5 and 0. Obviously, probably top 15, 20. So we're just gonna try our best and find 3 winners at minimum and see what we can do. Drive to Vegas and cash a check.
Well, let's start with this week from this perspective. I guess one thing that you shouldn't do, according to trends, and Chris, maybe you can let us know what you heard. What I think people shouldn't do is just auto bet on all the teams that need to win, supposedly. What's the deal with that trend, Chris? What'd you hear?
Yeah, I think you and I, and we've all been mentioning it for a couple of weeks now, these last couple of weeks. Oh, my God, this team has to win. And I think I said it on the last pod, like, if they have to win after week 17, like, are they really that good? Like, you had 17 weeks to figure it out, and now here we are, and everyone thinks, oh, man, the Steelers are a lock against the Browns, man. All they got to do is win again. Dude, remember, these are a lot of division matchups, We got Packers and Lions. We got Browns and Steelers. You got, Ravens and Bengals and Lions and Packers. You got all these. You don't think these teams want to knock them off? I mean, we talk about, Kmart knows how even if UCLA is having a shitty ass year, they want to knock USC off. Like, I mean, all these guys are playing for something. So, just be careful. And I think it's 62%. I heard from Action Network and Chad Millman and Simon Hunter. They're awesome. They're always like top 100 in their contest they do over there at FanDuel or some team that has nothing to play for, playing against a team that, like, quote unquote needs to win to get in. And we have a few of those this week. So just be careful when you want to go, oh man, the Seahawks have to win against the Rams. Free money, right? And same with the Steelers and stuff like that. So I'll be probably taking my disgusting soft ass Rams, Matthew.
Well, dude, look at the Eagles
And
too.
so-
They've had 2 weeks to wrap up the number 1 seed, and they haven't been able to fucking do it. And then now they're going to play the Giants, who Kmart's probably starting at wide receiver for them.
I wish.
And so the thinking behind those trends is that these ideas like, oh, they're going to be super motivated because they have to win and they're going to be desperate. The thinking and the way you back up those trends that Chris mentioned is that that's already baked into the line. So it's already inflated. Like the Seahawks one's a perfect example, right? I mean, should that line be Seahawks 6.5? I don't know. But the Seahawks have to win to get in, and they're going to be desperate to win is already baked into the line. So that's where someone like Chris, who I guess more often than not knows what the fuck he's doing, which is weird to say out loud, but is probably looking at the correct side there in Rams. So, Joe, with all this, I mean, you're needing a few winners to maybe win some money. Where are you even? Is that what you're looking at? Or are you looking to go against teams that need to that have to win, quote unquote, or what are you looking at here this week?
Man, it's so hard. I'm not really factoring that in to my handicap right now, just because, like you said, it's already baked into the line. But I just think it's such a fucking coin flip. So many of these. Like I said, the only one that I'm absolutely firing will be in the contest, Titans plus. It's now down to 6, but I bet it at +7. So at least the line's moving the right way. I think that's the one that for sure I think is a little bit too high in a winner take all game. But it's just, one thing I'm just trying to take into account too is like you can't bet on a game. Like if you're thinking if this happens, then I'm betting this side on this game. Like that's kind of stupid because then you're looking at two things at once. So it's tough, man. So you can look at line movement, you can look at all kinds of shit, starters in and out. I really don't think it fucking matters. It's just all a coin flip. It's tough.
Tennessee has lost how many games in a row?
1 million.
Approximately 1 million. What is it, 5 or 6? I mean, they haven't won. Did we talk about it on the recap pod? They haven't won since the Packer game, right?
Yeah, they haven't won since the Packer game. Yep, that's correct. But we got a highly motivated team. We love motivation, right, Chris? No, I just think it's a division game, ultimate division game, literally, quite literally winner take all. So a full Tennessee roster that's healthier than they have been, and Vrabel's I think is the better coach than Doug Peterson. So I'm gonna trust the Titans to cover the spread. Maybe not win outright, but lose by 3 with dignity.
Lose with dignity. That's going to be a trademark. That's going to be a t-shirt. We love that. Kmart, what do you think? Is this way too inflated for Jags? Do you agree with Joe?
Yeah, like I said on our recap pod, I saw his Action Network come in at 7.5 on that, and I went and joined. I was like, he's going on this early for a reason. I want to follow. Yeah, I mean, it seems like too much. I agree. Vrabel's going to have them ready. Better coach. Lawrence is playing really well. That's kind of the only part there. But there's a lot of pressure because it's a winner take all. So I know he's played in national championships, but this is the NFL. So I'm excited to watch it. I know that much. But yeah, give me 7 in the hook all day.
And that I love that it's Saturday night. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot's going to be made. And we talked about this the other day too, on the recap of the rest angle, right? That Jacksonville got so fucked by having to play on Sunday and then again on the following Saturday. Meanwhile, Tennessee's had 10 days to rest and like all this shit. How much does that matter?
I think it matters a little bit, especially because Tennessee didn't play like, Derrick Henry or a couple of guys in their secondary last week. So now they got 2 weeks to chill and be fully rested to go after it and win a division.
And because Tennessee is starting a quarterback that they signed off another team's practice squad 3 weeks ago.
But Dobbs didn't look. He looked decent. The astrophysicist looked decent. Over under on the amount of times that's mentioned that he's a 4.0 GPA student and an astrophysicist. What are we setting that at? Like 6.5? It's mentioned during the broadcast.
He's the new Fitz, the black Fitz magic.
I think Fitz magic.
Believe it.
From he was as smart as Dobbs.
So, okay, Joe and Jared for sure going to be on Tennessee in the contest.
100%.
I wonder how popular that'll be with people playing in the contest too.
I think it's going to be pretty popular. I think public's going to fire the Jags because obviously Titans are dead. But I think the big dick bettors and the guys in the contest are going to take the Titans, which kind of scares me because I should go the oppo of whoever's in front of me, right? So, but a winner's a winner. Just get 3 is all I need.
Yeah, I think it can be really hard to trap yourself in like, well, I need to make up ground, so maybe I should go contrarian and the opposite of what people. But I think at the end of the day, just find winners and everything will take care of itself, hopefully. So, all right. Chris, you and I are tied. You got fucked up by the Monday Night Zero, so I'll let you go next. Do you have anything you like so far, Dad?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple. We mentioned it. I'm probably gonna be on, just so I could send one last horse face gif. I'm gonna for sure be on the Broncos most likely, but I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna, since they were so good to me Sunday night and to Joseph as well, and I had alt under, and I just fucking raped and faded Dan, and had a gorgeous week last week for my birthday of 2K. I'm gonna fade your fucking Neil, your Steelers that hit that over for you of 7.5. Let's go Browns, catching the stinky 2.5. They put it under 3. All they have to do is win and get in. Kenny Pick, right? Looks good. Rookie QB. I don't know. I love these. I've always said I love AFC North teams catching points. It's always disgusting running. Go ahead. We mentioned it earlier. The trend of a team that's out playing against a team that needs to win and get in. Kind of similar to the Jets and Dolphins. I lean Jets too, but let's go Brownies.
Yeah, dude, that's a swamp dick play if I've ever heard of one. But what's even crazier, people forget that Kenny, like the Steelers had a pretty goddamn lucky cover with Kenny Pickett throwing that absolute dime, like we mentioned on the other podcast. So that goes incomplete. They lose. This is a completely different line.
2 in a row, those, Joe. 2 in a row, they're dead, and they come back on the final drive.
Either A, they're the luckiest team ever, or Kenny Pickett is
Vikings.
actually Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I agree with Chris. That's probably the right position to take, where you have eliminated Browns, you have Steelers that all they need to do is win, and they can get into the playoffs. So it's probably the correct side. But unlike, some of these other ones, the Browns are only catching 2.5 points. What are the Browns playing for? Spoiler, that's it?
High fives.
I mean, at least they have a good enough record where it's not like they're like going for some bomb ass draft pick, right? Like, I mean, they're like right in the middle of the pack, 7 and 9. So it's like they would love to just knock them off, right? Like the Steelers historically have owned them, and the Steelers during like Big Ben's reign just killed the Bengals and the Browns. So maybe they'll be like, yeah, it's our turn to fuck with you.
Yeah, hey, division dogs, week 18. I wish they would do the last 2 weeks all divisions. I think that would help with a lot of this like questionable motivation stuff. But irregardless, we'll move on.
Irregardless,
had to fit one in there.
Wait, Chris, you're on Broncos too? Real quick.
Yeah, why? Why do you want to do the horse head gif one more time, Chris?
Because they're disgusting, and they came through for us against the nobody, Matt, you and I, nobody, plus 12.5 dead. They lost 51-14. How could they stay within Mahomes? Oh, yeah, they almost won outright. And then Chargers, I think there's rumors that Herbert will play. I think I've seen a lot of my squares. I'll send you guys a text there. A lot of them on chart. I think I saw 5 or 6 on my bar pick them on Charger. I think everyone's like, what the heck? They're getting 2.5. Like, Denver's dead. So I just think it's like one of those ones where Denver show again, division team. They'd love to just knock them off and put them in like, because if they lose, they're in the 6th or set, right? Like, I think if they get knocked off, they have to go play a tougher team. So Denver probably would love to do that to them.
Hey, Denver tough at home. I don't know what their home record is this year because they've probably scored like 1 touchdown all season at home, but I don't hate it, man. I'm honestly, this was in my top 3 was Broncos.
One more time, horsehead gif. Let's ride, Russell Wilson. Maybe. All right. I want to discuss this one because the contest made Jets -1. And I was actually really confused by that line when it came out because the Jets are eliminated and Dolphins are not. So I was wondering why the Jets were favored. And then today, this afternoon, a bunch of Dolphins steam came in. So I wanted to make sure we discuss this game. First of all, what do we think is behind that? That has moved through 0. It was Jets -1, and now it's Dolphins -2. Any theories as to why that moved? And I mean, is Jets, despite the steam on Dolphins, is Jets the right play because of the must-win narrative for Miami? Kmart, you were fist pumping when I mentioned the Jets. What do you got?
I was just happy we were going to talk about it. But
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't even know there was steam. Like, do we even know who's starting a quarterback for Miami? Is that what the steam's about?
Well, people seem to think they know, I guess. Maybe that's why it moved 3 points.
It was a practice squad guy, right? Who's Glennon playing for?
Glennon.
Well, they signed him, I think, to their. Yeah, no, Miami signed him to their practice squad. He's not going to start, but
let's hope he gets in. That'd be sick. Is it going to be Skylar Thompson? It's going to be Skylar Thompson.
Confirmed starting?
Just looking at an ESPN article that he's getting all first team reps.
Okay.
Against Michael White?
Against Big Dick Mike.
That's the other part, because Mike White was downgraded to limited in practice today. So I don't know. I mean, if it has, wouldn't it be fitting to have the Jets have to trot out Zach Wilson for Week 18?
Oh God,
boys, that would be shit teams. What do we always do?
I want to see Flacco versus Glennon.
Flacco versus Glennon. Who else do the Jets have at quarterback? Is that it?
Shriveler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's where they're going.
Let's get him in there.
Shriveler guy. Shriveler versus.
Is he Mormon because he looks a lot like
Yeah.
Is he Mormon because he's a lot like Taysom Hill back there?
Dude, he's like Taysom Hill's exponentially better, which is not saying much at quarterback. This dude can't throw the ball. He throws like you do left-handed, Chris.
He looks worse than Tebow.
Tebow has better mechanics than Shriveler.
So, Kmart, why'd you want to talk about this one?
Similar to other people we talk about, I'm just stubborn with the Jets, man. I love the defense. I just, it's kind of that narrative too, where, Jets are done.
What's the total?
Dolphins have to win. And it's just so easy. It was, at the time where I made the bet, it was Dolphins +1. It's like, oh, wow, easy. Even with 2 out and whoever, it's not, is it Bridgewater? I don't fucking remember these teams. But yeah, I was just like, man, I love this. And again, I don't care if it's Flacco, Mike White. I probably care a little bit if it is Shriveler, whatever the hell his name is. But yeah, it's more the defense. I mean, the Dolphins, since that first big play against the Niners, they've just gone downhill. So yeah, I like the Jets in the upset spot.
I feel like the Dolphins D played pretty well last week. They only got fucked because they gave up. I mean, Teddy threw a horrific pick 6 on his own 5-yard line, and that's the whole game turned from there. Joe remembers. Joe was on the Pats. Oh, just a brutal non-cover.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
So I don't know. I'm confused by the line. I wanted to make sure we discussed that one.
It is.
I guess the one that I'm really looking for is I'm very intrigued that they put Lions-Packers Sunday night. And I think it was brought up on our recap the other night and I've heard this all week nonstop on every show. Everybody on Twitter is yelling and complaining. Why did they move this to Sunday night? By Sunday night, the Lions might be eliminated. And in that case, the game doesn't matter. And if I was to list all the coaches in the league in terms of who could get his guys fired up for a meaningless game, I'm pretty sure that motherfucker Dan Campbell would be near the top. Are you telling me the Lions, regardless of whether they're in or out or have a chance to make it or not make it, are you telling me they're not going to be fired up to play in Lambeau Field on Sunday Night Football? When's the last time the Lions were on Sunday Night Football? Anybody remember?
Probably the last time they got butt spanked by the Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah, it was last year. I remember I was on a plane and Fade Den was on the Packers. We were all on the Lions. We were all scared. Remember in Goof? Didn't Goof cover the first half and then the Packers came back and won outright?
That sounds right.
I think Goof, they were up like fucking 17-0, and then Goof fucked it up through like 4 picks.
Okay, so they have had one. They have one
Yeah.
recently last year, but I mean, this franchise has not been, other than Thanksgiving, on national TV very much. So I don't know. I'd love to go against that. Oh well, the Lions are eliminated, so now the game means nothing to them. Like, get the fuck out with that.
Right.
And it's simply too easy for the Packers, right? Like everybody's blowing the Packers all week. They're back. They're scary. You don't want to play them in the first round. They're destined to make it. It's Rodgers. Just fuck all of that. Seriously. Just let the line keep climbing. I think you just bet the Lions right before it starts. Everybody's going to come in, especially if Seattle eliminates Detroit. I feel like people just unleash on Green Bay Sunday night and bet the Lions.
Yeah.
And the Packers can still win and get in. They just win by 3. I don't know. I think the Lions are scrappy. I think they'll play hard no matter what. I'd love to see the Lions in the playoffs. I think that would be highly entertaining. But if it doesn't happen, they can still make this one a tough fight.
Oh, dude. But if the Lions do have to win to get in or whatever the fuck, is that how it would work when it gets to Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, the Rams have to win, and then Detroit has to win to get in.
The Rams have to win.
The Rams have to beat Seattle, and then the Lions.
That would be
they win. They're in.
That would be pretty electric if that was the case. But I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, in the contest, they made it 5.5. It's now 4.5. So you're getting a little bit of CLV, I suppose. But, yeah, dude, what worries me, there's the Twitter sharps. Everybody's on the Lions.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I know.
And I'm like, fuck. The Lions, we want them, America's darling, America's new team to be underrated, not overrated. So I think we got 2 teams that are like everybody's. It's just kind of a bizarre, because you're gonna have sharps on both sides, I think.
Honestly, and that is something that I think not your decision shouldn't hinge on it, but Joe brought up the Twitter sharps, and that is a thing now. When you're scrolling through Twitter, every fucking dumbass is trying to post plays and their record. And I mean, holy shit, it's oversaturated. And we did it yesterday. We shared some college basketball picks. They went 3-on-1, by the way, whatever. But I mean, we were talking about this in a group chat this morning, that every Twitter sharp seemed to be on Ohio State. Kyle, that was brought up in one of our groups, right? In basketball.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, but they're up 9 towards the end of the first half. So it's a little concerning when you see every fake sharp, every Twitter sharp on one side, but I mean, sometimes they are right. So I do hear your point though, Joe. I think it is a good one that once everybody starts to latch onto it, you got to be careful.
How do we feel
Tennessee
about,
could get?
How do we feel about Raider Cock catching almost double digits?
Man,
yeah, I haven't even looked at it, honestly.
Do you think Stidham can pull his what out again?
No.
The Chiefs aren't really playing for. I mean, the Chiefs, they can improve to the 1, or they are the 1 right now, right? So they got to maintain it.
They got to maintain.
We'll see what the NFL announces too. They might say like, "Hey, you know what? It's going to be win percentage," and
it's got to be win percentage. They're not playing that game again.
Yeah, so
there's no way.
Could Stidham
do it again? Maybe they're not playing it.
Yeah, there's no way. They'd have to move. They were talking about moving the playoffs back a week to do that. And there's just no fucking way, dude. There's no way to make it up. Just do it by winning percentage. Tough shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for the Chiefs because you want the 1 seed, but you also want to make sure nobody gets injured and you're all set in case you do have to play another game next week. I mean, the Raiders, I don't know what they're really playing for, but
I think they played their asses off last week. I think
that's what I'm worried. Like, did they empty the tank or do they have another effort like that in them? I mean, Jacobs is maybe going for the rushing title. Adams is maybe shattering Raider records. Maybe they're playing for some of that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, I think it all hinges on Stidham. Stidham looked fucking amazing against the Niners. And if Stidham goes out there and plays 80% of what he did last time, they'll cover that 9.5. Excuse me, that 9.5.
That's a tough one. What about you, Kmart? What haven't we talked about that you have your eye on?
I mean, the only thing I was really prepared for was Lions, but you said everything I was going to say. That's kind of to go back to my teaser. So I guess for shits and giggles, like Rams Seahawks. I mean, 6.5 in the contest. I don't know if he'll make my card because I'm gonna definitely have Lions in there. Is my favorite bet, but I'm probably gonna make a case for Rams plus 6.5. Nothing to play for. Kind of same thing we said with the Jets and some other games. It's NFC West. It's a wild, wild West. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams won outright. Like I really wouldn't. Super Bowl champion, want to end the season on the right note, going in the next season. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries, but shown that they still care a little bit. And they haven't been playing for anything for weeks. So yeah, I'll probably just make a case plus 6.5. And honestly, I'm probably going to root for it a little bit because I really want to see. I agree with you, Matt. I don't think win or lose in that game is going to change the Lions' mentality because at the end of the day, if they beat Green Bay, they're not in the playoffs either. Like they would love that. So to me, that stands irregardless.
Beautiful. Well done.
So to me, and it's not a homer bet or a want bet, but I do think there's a chance that line at 6.5 seems a little steep. So I like that. Probably sprinkle. I need to learn to actually sprinkle and not just do 50-50 and then come out of it at a break even like the Ohio State game. And I'm like, sweet.
Do you like it more with the way the Rams kind of got easily handled last week? I mean, fucking idiot Chris was on Rams in the contest last week and they get kind of routed by the Chargers.
Yeah, it was weird. I was surprised he was on them because they look so good. Line 6.5. It's kind of like, to me, it was like, why is this 6.5 though? So I kind of wanted to play the Chargers, and then now we have the reverse. So I don't know. It's weird. Like, forget what you saw last week, and it's funny how in sports you can really just pick a team because they lost, because there's so much parity, even with all these injuries. I think people forget how much talent there truly is at the level. And I mean, fuck, it's week 18. As long as they didn't sign a guy, straight out of the barista, they should be fine.
But too, you can look at the last game they played. It was in fucking LA, and Seattle was 6.5 point favorites. Now they're playing again, and Seattle's playing for everything at home, and they're keeping that line 6.5.
That's even better point.
A little bit. That's a little bit weird. Why isn't it a little bit higher? Especially because the Rams only lost by 4.
Who gets in if the Rams beat Seattle and the Lions beat the Packers? It's just Lions in, right?
It's Lions in.
And then so any scenario where the Rams win and that Sunday night game becomes win and you're in for the final spot.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, yep. If the Rams win, it's win and you're in. And I feel like the only way the Seahawks can get in is if they win and that game draws.
Oh yeah, that'd be weird.
Let's put our tinfoil hats on. I mean, what's the NFL rooting for then? They want the Rams. Maybe they just give a call to that ref, be like, hey, be nice to the Rams this week.
You never know.
They would love that final regular season finale to be win or get in.
That would be,
I mean,
huge.
The fact they put it that way, I mean, that's kind of what has made me really like this game more. It's just because, I mean, I brought it up on the recap. Like, why are they doing this? What do they know? Like, as we said, either way, the Lions are going to want it, but why would, I don't know. It smells even worse. So Rams plus 6.5.
I think the Rams one is also a little interesting. They're very different from an eliminated team where they don't have their first round pick. So them and the Broncos
They
both,
don't give a
where
shit.
like
Yeah.
if you're Houston, or quite frankly, both Houston and Indy,
And the Bears.
you'd want the best pick possible. Like they're not going to go throw the game, but they might make some decisions that come from the top where guys might like Justin Fields isn't playing for the Bears. The Colts are
with the Bears versus Houston, and that's what scared me, because I really like the Bears play, but then I realized, well, I still kind of like it, but like the thing is with Houston, they have to lose. If they don't get the number one overall pick, that overall pick, that is a fucking disaster. With the Bears, It doesn't really fucking matter. They're trading that motherfucker anyways. Number 1 or number 2. They don't give a shit. They're trading that.
Right.
Because they have their quarterback. Yeah. They'll trade it. They'll pick 9 or 10 and get the best defensive lineman or defensive back off the board. They're in a great scenario. They're in a good spot. So the Bears could try to win, but probably not going to
try to win and then sell it back to the Texans and just gouge them.
That would be hot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at all the teams that need quarterbacks. There's going to be candidates to trade up.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody watched CJ Stroud look like a fucking, I mean, he looked phenomenal in that game. So everybody saw that. And maybe people are going to learn from Justin Fields a couple of years ago, because he was phenomenal in their playoff game. And
phenomenal.
Where did he go? 11th?
Second and 11, and they couldn't gain a fucking yard.
Remember Herbert in the Rose Bowl?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yep. All right, dads. Some of these other ones are tough. I mean, Carolina, New Orleans, some of these games between eliminated teams. What do you think about the Bucs? This line seems to be indicating the Bucs are resting guys. Do we buy that?
Yeah.
Pull at halftime.
I'm leaning Falcons pretty heavily in my top 5, just because I'm just looking at the line movement, and that's what makes sense. If the Bucs truly are literally not playing Tom Brady or anybody else in a completely meaningless game, yeah, it's hard. You can't always do it, like Chris said, but to get such a weird line like this, something is going on.
What of all of these, in your opinion, is the biggest stay away? Joe? No action. Don't want any part of it.
Probably Washington and Dallas. Just because we don't like Dallas is going to want to win, but are they going to want to cover that 7? Because like Jerry said, it'd be nice to get the number 1 overall seed, but that's almost impossible. But I know he's going to tell his team, do not fucking lose to the Washington Wild Hogs.
To Major D and that pig mascot.
Yeah. And now Washington announced they're starting that Sam Harrell out of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it's like it's Washington or nothing. And I don't know what to expect out of Sam Harrell. So that's kind of why it's my stay away.
Kmart, what about you? What's the biggest? And you are a degenerate, so I know it's hard for you to stay away. But what's your biggest no bet? I want no piece of this.
I mean, it's probably the only reason I've done so well this year is because I've been pretty good about only 3 bets every Sunday, unless there's truly a 4th where I'm not like forcing it. But Saints Panthers for me is just meaningless. I thought, man, last week when the Panthers were up, I'm just like, oh my God, that game's gonna be so much fun. Holy shit, it's gonna be so much fun. I couldn't get over it. I was at the bar with some of like the like mommy and daddy like club, whatever the hell you want to call it, on New Year's Day, and pretty cool group of people. But I'm just like, everyone knows I'm a degenerate too, and I'm just like glued to the TV, and I'm just like, fuck, and what happened? But yeah, that to me, I have no idea. Obviously, I'm a Sam Darnold homer for obvious reasons. So for his sake, I'd like to see him play well, but to put money on it, no. Like, I'm legit. I think those are the only 2 games I got money on are, I guess 3, because I'm a degenerate. So Jets, Rams, Lions, and then that little fun teaser.
For now, he'll have more. Titans. He'll have more by Sunday.
Yeah, because I'm probably gonna follow Joe straight into the money.
Dude, no, you know what I really like though? I love Cardinals plus 14.
Yeah, you said that. I mean, I don't blame you. I just can't.
Take your homer hat off for a second here. CMC ain't playing. No Debo, obviously. They're not going to play Kittle. They're not going to play Ayuk.
Why would they not? They're trying to wrap up the 2 seed.
Yeah, but are they going to do it by 14? They're not going to play a bunch of guys on defense, and this is like Cardinals. If they have any pride,
like with all the noise with their defense, like why wouldn't they use this to work on some things? You get a live opponent.
With the Niners' fucking injury history, I think that would be foolish.
It's been good the last 7 weeks.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Not last
Jimmy G.
No, I think I just think the Niners are gonna go up maybe 10 points and then just pull everybody, take a break, win by a touchdown. 14's a fucking lot, dude. And I think the Cardinals are
I think you're on the right side. I just can't.
And the Cardinals play good in Santa Clara historically, so
yeah,
I don't give a shit when it is. They go and and I've been watching. This is gonna sound really stupid, but I've been watching that Hard Knocks shit, the in season, and those players fucking love Cliff Kingsbury, and they're like, we don't give a shit what they said. Yeah, they're like, we don't care what our record is. We're fucking rolling with you, coach. We don't give a fuck. So
that's so interesting because I feel like the outside perception of him is the exact opposite, right? Like I talked about Dan Campbell being a guy that, like, game matters or not, he's going to get you. You're going to run through a brick wall for that guy. Cliff does not strike me as that kind of guy at all. There's been rumors about his job security for a month.
Yeah. It could be a lot of editing and shit, but for what they show is like majority of it's positive, like in practices and like meetings and shit. People are like, Cliff, like, I fuck with you, like you're fucking, I like you, all this shit, and they seem motivated. I don't know. And JJ Watt's last game,
there's that.
I just think 14 points is a lot, dude.
The Cardinals, they have tried really hard each of the last 2 weeks too. They had the Bucks on the ropes, and then they were beating the Falcons for most of that game. I think they just allowed the Falcons to go down the field and kick a field goal with 1 second left to lose that game. They covered. I mean, everybody was on the Falcons last week after the news that Blau was starting, and the Cards still went all out and nearly won that game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I just think it's the Cardinals, not their Super Bowl per se, but they're going to be motivated, I think, to play well and lose with dignity by 7, please.
All right, everybody. So here's the deal: we will not do a recap for Week 18 on Sunday night. Obviously, there's no Monday Night Football game, so we'll be back next Thursday, the 12th, probably same time, 4:30 Pacific. We will be joined by a very special guest. We'll tweet that out next week, and I think we can say she will be with us to preview the wild card round. So keep an eye on the Twitter. We'll tweet out everybody's plays one last time this Sunday. And everybody, good luck with your Week 18 bets. Don't go crazy. Happy New Year, everyone. And
go crazy. Fuck
let's
that.
Go crazy. Joe and Jared.
Let's go. 4-1. Cash. Let's go.
I'm following everything.
All right, everybody. See you next time.